Okay, today we're going to talk a little bit about how to do scientific notation on a calculator. Now, you don't have to have a fancy calculator for this class. Here's one that I use quite a bit. That's a Texas Instruments one. Here's a Casio one. Here's an even more simpler Texas Instruments one. Okay, but when you do scientific notation on a calculator, you have to make sure you put that number into the calculator correctly. For example, if we look at this calculation right here, you can put that into your calculator lots and lots of different ways. Okay, I want you to put it into the calculator the easiest way that you can. Okay, depending on how you put this in the calculator, you might get this as the answer. You might get that as the answer. Those are two very, very different numbers. And of course, only one of those can be correct. The key to using a calculator correctly is, number one, don't use your cell phone. Okay, get a calculator, get a regular calculator from Walmart. They're like $7, $8. Okay, and you're going to be using it not just in this class, but in all of your other classes as well. Okay, so make sure that you have a calculator. Obviously, you cannot use a cell phone on a test, so you're going to need an actual calculator. Okay, the key to using the calculator correctly is, like I said, number one, make sure you actually have one, not your cell phone. Number two is finding the right button to use. Most new calculators will have one of three buttons, okay? So a lot of them will have a button that has a double capital E on the button, or maybe it's right above a button. For example, on this calculator, I have here, it's right above the number 7 is a double capital E. Okay, you might have a button that has an EXP, or you might have one that has a times 10 to the N, or maybe a times 10 to the Y. One of those two. Pretty much every scientific calculator is going to have one of those 4 buttons. And the nice thing is all of those buttons mean the exact same thing. They mean times 10 to the power of what, and then you just have to put it into your calculator correctly. So when I type this into my calculator, for example, I type 5.21, and then again on my calculator I have that double E button, and then I just type in the number 4. Notice I don't type in the times button, I don't type in 10, and I don't even have to raise it to a power. That double E or EXP or times 10 to the N or Y buttons, those do that for you. Okay, you don't have to do any of that stuff. Okay, so let's look at a couple of examples here. So what I want you to do is I want you to do part A, and then I want you to check and make sure, is it right, is it wrong, did I get the same answer that he got? Okay, so go ahead and pause it at this point, do letter A on your calculator, and then check and make sure, do I have the same answer that he does? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type this into my calculator, 3.02 times 10 to the third. And again, on my screen, it looks like this, 3.02 and then a capital E and then a 3. Yours might look slightly different depending on what button you have. It might say 3.02 EXP3 on your screen. You might have a 3.02 and then a little 3 up in the corner. Again, every calculator is a little bit different. Okay, but it should look something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to hit times, and then I'm going to hit 1.00, and then E negative 8. So again, on my screen, it looks like 3.02 E3 times 1.00 E minus 8. And again, most calculators have different buttons for negative than for subtraction. Okay, make sure this is a negative here, you're not subtracting 8, that's negative 8. Okay, and then I'm just going to hit equals. And the correct answer, and again, depending on the calculator, one possible answer is 0.0000302. But remember, guys, the whole point of this is we don't want all these extra zeros. Okay, so your calculator or you yourself could put that into scientific notation. That would be 3.02 times 10 to the negative 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5th. Okay, both of those answers are the same. Well, what do you want me to put on a test? Either one, I don't care. Okay, because this number and this number, they are equal to each other. So I am on a test, I will accept either of those possible answers. Okay, letter B, go ahead and pause it and do that one. So I've got 9.62 times 10 to the minus 4th divided by 5.58 times 10 to the 6th. And I get a final answer of 1.72 times 10 to the minus 10th. Or again, you could put 0.0000000000172. But again, why would you do that if you can just put it into scientific notation? Okay, and then letter C, 2.5 times 10 to the 1, which is just 25, plus 6.33 times 10 to the 2nd equals 658, or 6.58 times 10 to the 2nd. Again, the point of scientific notation is to reduce zeros. There are no zeros, so I don't know why you would do that. That's actually making you write more, so I would write that as 658. And then we've got 9.6 times 10 to the minus 2nd. 10 to the minus 2nd minus, use the subtraction button there, 6.82 times 10 to the minus 3rd. Again, 0.08918, or 8.918 times 10 to the minus 2nd. Okay, so when you use scientific notation on your calculator, it's going to make it much easier for you. I always want to teach you the easiest way to do things, okay? And making sure that you know which of these buttons you have. And of course, if you don't know, then ask me, and I will look at your calculator and I'll help you find that button and make sure you can put that into your calculator correctly.